There's a lot of bishops dressed in purple. And there's the Garda. They spells Garda, but they pronounce it Gordi. They go to the Don tribe. They're bullying kids. That's what they do. They guard the religious clerics. They're the same as the Republican Guard. They are the Republican Guards from the Revolution of Ishtar in 1916. But they guard the religious clerics the same as the Republican Guards down in Iran. Finally, an embroidered work was that which thou spreadest forth and would say, blue and purple from the oils of Elijah which covered thee. Yeah? The inhabitants of Zidon and the merchants, the wise men and authorities and were the pilots, the judges on the ships, trading in the persons of men. Watch the trade. Where is it? And the men. Where's it? Hold on a second. Anyway, it's down here. Hold on, they trade in the persons of. The men of the land were the merchants of many oils, and they were merchants of thine hand, and they brought for the presents of horns of oil. And they traded in the the men of the dawn. They trade in the persons of man, the blue and purple from the eyes of the. They made they hung their shields up on the wall, peacekeepers. They hung up their shields on the walls. Yeah, the men of the dawn were the merchants of many oils. The Hananel is Syria. Syria was the merchants. The reason of the multitude of their warfares. Yeah, there's Damascus was the merchant of the multitude of the warfares. There, the Dan and the Javelin says the Dan are causing all these wars. They're making fortunes. When you donate money to the Syrian appeal and all of this, they stick it all in the bank and the Pope and all gets richer. And they use the guards to protect them. But they trade in the persons of man. What does that mean? Well, when you Javelin, Tubal and Meshach, they were the merchants. They traded the persons of men and the vessels of brass and the markets. So what's the persons of man? When you're born, you're a man. When they make a birth cert, they make a person. When you step into a court, when you step into a dock on a ship, you get traded they trade in your person if you recognise the name. But because these are so corrupt, these serpents, they look the oaks of Bashan. They made thine oars. The company of the where's Bashan? Well, Bashan is in the Golan Heights. So there's something going on. This is Ezekiel 27, the King James Version. So there's something very sneaky going on. You know? And this is mentioned in the Bible. Look. You see that? By hook or by crook. And this fella has serpents there, look. That one is a St. Patrick hook. These are all very sneaky stuff. For behold, the day cometh that shall burn like an oven, and all them that are proudly, yea, that do wickedly, shall be stubble, and that the day that cometh that they burn, said the Lord of hosts, shall leave neither root nor branch. But unto them that fear my name shall the Son of Righteousness arise with healing in his wing, and ye shall go forth and grow up as calves in the stall. That means you grow up under Brehon law, the mother's law. My son, hear the instructions of your father, do not forsake your mother's law. She will honour you, she will preserve you. Honour your father and mother. The commandment, calves is a stall, to every cow its calf, to every manuscript its copy. And ye shall tread down the wicked, for they shall be ashes under your feet, and in the day that I shall do this, said the Lord of hosts. Remember ye the law of Moses, I have commanded him on Hebron, and Israel, and the statutes of my judgments. For behold, I will send Elijah the prophet before the coming of the great and dreadful day. And he shall turn the hearts of the fathers to the children, and the hearts of the children to the fathers. The fathers is that Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, lest I come and smite the whole earth with a curse. So basically, this is the odds of Elijah. Elijah is John the Baptist, probably Michael the Archangel, working for Jesus in a pincer movement, a tag team. And if you don't do exactly what he says, well, I think that's self-explanatory. But what you're looking at is these are pagans here. And they're not mentioned in the book of Revelations because they turn to dust, the fire upon them, because they're pagans and they're not good, and they're involved in the warfares in Damascus and all that. So what we got here, look, there's the Garda. Look, oh, there says Garda. But if you listen to Shazar, where's Shazar gone? Hold on, me find Shazar. Oh, where's Shazar gone? She says Garda at the start, Oh, well, she's not there, but let's see.
Anti-Islam demonstrators clashed with protesters against racism outside a Dublin mosque yesterday. A group of around 12 people claimed to represent Anti-Islam Ireland gathered outside the Islamic Cultural Centre of Ireland on Roebuck Road, Dublin 14 at 2 p.m. yesterday. They were met by a larger gathering of anti-racism demonstrators, numbering between 90 and 120 people. Among their number was Green Party leader Eamon Ryan. Anti-Islam Ireland last week used its Facebook page and another page called Irish Voice to declare that the protest would take place.
There says, listen. Garda.
Intensive Garda investigation is underway after
Garda
a 24-year-old man was stabbed to death and 2 other people
says,
injured.
Get your tits
the 3
out.
separate incidents took place this morning in Dundalk in County Louth. The attack began at 9 o'clock when a man was found dead on Avenue Road.
Listen,
at
Garda.
9:32 a.m, a second man was stabbed at Coast Road. Around 8 minutes later, at 9:40, Gardaí received a 999 call to say a third man had been assaulted.
So they have like Garda, guards in English, Garda in Gaelic, or Gardaí in the Dannan. Have they got some secret code that they speak in Newark that we're missing? Because what does Garda mean? What does Gardaí mean? Well, they guard the Dannan, the religious clerics. The reason why the Magdalen Laundries were so successful at abusing these people is not because the bishops were super criminals. No, it's because the Garda were good little lapdogs. And the sons of the sons of the sons of the Garda are still guards. My daddy was a guard. And all of this. And before him, my daddy was a farmer. In the revolution of Ishtar, we got a big field with loads of trees. We cut down all the trees and put cows in that field, and now we get loads of subsidies from Europe. And we're greedy bastards and we'll never have enough. And all the rest of the fucking homeless can die on the polluted stones. Even though the average age of a homeless person is only 44 years. Because they lie on the polluted stones and it takes the life force. The average age of a slave mason in the days of the pharaohs was 33 years. But yet, when Moses lived in the wilderness, he lived for 400 years. Why is that? These are fucking orcs, these things. These fuckers are orcs. They cut down all the trees, they do. And if you sat you in their fields, you ever get out of my field, you dirty Dublin bastards, yeah. What are you doing in my field? I'm calling the guards for you. Guard my fields. Guard the Dannan. Go to guard the Dannan, the little fuckers, yeah.
The suspect, an 18-year-old from Egypt, was disarmed.
I'd like to see. I wonder if Shazza has tiddles. But anyway, that's what they are. The dance tribe. The Lord says, I will bring the calamity of Esau upon him at the time I will visit him. And the Lord says, Esau I have hated. Esau, Margety dog.
His attacker then moved on to Coles Road, where a second man who's Irish was stabbed and injured.
That's it anyway. Pagans pretended to be Christians. The multitude of their warfare, so they're making loads of money. So this is what happens. The banks come into Ireland, they throw everyone out on the street, they keep them in the figure 8, then they have to go to visit another Jesuit whose name is Mike Ferry. And then so they keep them in the figure 8, and you donate loads of money to Mike Ferry, and he pretends to help, and it all goes into the banks and the Popey Banky. Potpourri, there's nothing on the earth that stinks like potpourri, except for Adolf Hitler and the British monarchy. They'll save us all from Satan, allegedly, so don't forget to take a quick and see the potpourri. So they keep you in a figure 8. They're throwing you out on the streets, and then they're sending you to the bush, the polluted stones to feed whoever it is up in the leaves. It's very sick and sinister stuff. These dirty bowsies that are going to be stubble under the feet. Now, get out of my fucking fields. This is my island. I'm Callahan. It's my kingdom. It's the kingdom of High Ben O'Neill.